afternoon. It's Lindsay. It's Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. And so, here we go. This is a reading that I am going to do. I'm going to do, and this can whoever it resonates with, that's who it goes to. So it's just basically for whoever it. If you feel you can relate to it, then fine. If not, then don't pay any attention. So, the cards that have been chosen, that I picked for this reading, were pretty interesting. So, let's get started. Let me get started on this. So, first of all, I have here the Ten of Swords, and it is in the, there's not a lot of light in here, so let me adjust my lighting, please, while I get this reading done. So this was pulled from the reversed. Okay, we have the reversed. Now, with this is basically, this person is in such a state of distress that it can't get any worse than it already is. It's rock bottom for this person, and they're seeing that everything is an obstacle in their path, that it's going to be impossible for them to overcome a particular situation that they're in. And so that is what's going on there with that person. And I'm seeing that this is a man, who is about, I want to say he's 48 to 53 years old. He was once married in a happy marriage, or so he thought, with kids. And then that marriage basically dissolved. But we'll get to that in a second as to what was going on with that. So then I have the Four of Pentacles. Pentacles. So, for example, if you say I've reached the Pentacle of Indifference, you can say that. Now, a pentacle is basically, it's a sign of luck. It has various meanings, symbolism. Often, for example, the star of Saturn, or what have you, pentacle, a pentacle. I'm not going to answer that because I'm in the middle of doing something. I'm not going to answer the phone right now. I'm in the middle of doing something. So this person is, right now it's in the upright position. So I see a man who is saving his money. He's got security, conservation, and he's in control of what his situation is. And this man is because he's in connection with his higher self. I'm also seeing an art museum somewhere. I'm seeing a city that's probably somewhere in the Midwest. I'm seeing that there's a conflict going on between a man, this man with his pentacle. There's a conflict going on in an art museum, and I'm seeing it's a city in somewhere in the Midwest. He's having a conflict with somebody who actually works as a security guard at the museum. This man was somebody who was in a managerial position, and so he started getting really successful in his job. And then he got into a conflict with a security guard at this museum that I'm seeing. And the conflict was because the man's wife one day came into the museum, and the security guard was hitting on her or making flirtatious moves towards her, and it got him very outraged and angry because he felt that was, a form of betrayal, because he thought that this man was his friend. He had confided in him before, and then all of a sudden he sees that what he's doing to with his wife, and it looks to him like they have something going on that he, unbeknownst to him, it looks like there might be some kind of a little affair of some kind that he doesn't know about, that maybe he doesn't know about. So there's some bad energy going on there, and he's trying to remain positive about it because he doesn't want to lose his job, but he's at the same time upset, and he hasn't confronted his wife about that. Now, these two, the wife and this man who I'm seeing, this man at the museum, he's about 50 years old. I see he's about 50 years old. His wife is about, I want to say she's about 43, 44. And what I see happening with these two is that there's a conflict of interest. He sees her as being very, extremely, very narcissistic and self-absorbed and only thinks about herself. And the children, they do have 2 young children. I'm seeing that they have looks to me like they've got maybe a boy and a girl. And he's got what I see is this man is somebody who, he's kind of emotionally immature in a lot of ways. Yet he has prestige and he has a good job and he's very influential and creative, and his wife is creative as well, but she's very narcissistic and demanding, and he doesn't like being told what to do. And he also, I'm seeing that he's got a substance abuse. He's got an issue with smoking some kind of substance that he likes to do recreationally, but it's turning into something that's far more than just a little bit of a once every few days. It's becoming something that's becoming too much, and that he's losing control. And it's making her upset, and it's causing friction in their marriage. And both of them are at a point where they've lost. It's beyond that 3-year mark of the relationship is basically fizzled out. So they're headed for divorce land, is what it looks like to me. And as far as what's going to happen to the kids, looks like they're probably going to get. It's going to be joint custody, I think, but there's going to be a battle in the courts. But they're going to get a divorce for sure because they're not compatible anymore. I think that the man, I'm seeing that he might be a Libra. It's like he's either a Libra or I'm seeing a Libra, or maybe she's either a Libra or a Pisces. Somebody's a Pisces or a Libra in this situation, or maybe a Taurus. Seen a lot of music, like somebody likes to mess around with the turntable. He has a collection of music. He plays a lot of music on his record player, looks like. But he likes to cook. He likes to garden. He likes to fish. But he's not happy. The marriage is not doing any one of them any good, so they're going to get a divorce. And he looks to me like he's real close to his kids. His kids really look up to him and enjoy spending time with him. But the woman, not so sure what's going on with her. I think she's just lost interest because she's exhausted and feels that she's on a different path from him. And then what I'm seeing here is that, yeah, because there's some substance. Somebody needs to clean their aura. It looks like somebody's got to clean their aura. Somebody's got some house cleaning, get some sage and go around the house and get rid of all the negativity, because sometimes people get themselves in situations or relationships, or they cheat or whatever on their significant other, and it leads to tainted things around the house of wherever these people live. Because what I'm seeing here is that man is having an affair, and he's doing that in his house where he shares a home with this woman, unbeknownst to her. And so somebody's got to do a cleaning of the home, but they are going to get a divorce nonetheless. Cheating or not, it's going to be landing in a divorce. That's what I see. Now back to this one, the Five of Swords. This person is reached their wit ends. They're done. They've lost control. They don't know what to do anymore. They've hit rock bottom because they also have an alcohol problem or a drug abuse problem, and they have burned all their bridges. It looks like they are losing their stability. They have an illness of which they refuse to go get looked at. They're in denial about some kind of a sickness that they have because they're afraid of the stigma that might be associated with it. And so I'm seeing that a man, he's got an ego, a large ego, because he has a good job. Looks like he has a pretty decent job. But it's killing him. It's killing him because he's using all of his energy trying to impress people by dating women and going on little one-night stands and spending money and getting drunk and fornicating and things like this, going to motels. I'm seeing that he goes to a lot of motels and that he's got kind of a reputation around town where he lives, where the women see him as just kind of a player and a womanizer. And he keeps that secret from his family. He's a man. I'm seeing that this man, he's in a relationship with somebody. He's in a quote-unquote serious relationship with somebody, but he's living a complete double life. And it's going to get found out pretty soon here. That's what I'm seeing. That somebody's going to find out, and his world's going to crash to the ground because he thought that he'd be able to get away with it, and it's not going in his favor anymore. The Sun. So the Sun card. What is a sun? The sun, but also we have a skull. So somebody. What I'm seeing here is that there's a woman. Oh wow, I don't like this one. This is bad, but I'm going to go ahead and read it and tell you what I see. This is a woman who is about 49 years old. She moved over to this country from a foreign country, from somewhere in, it looks like Mexico. I'm seeing Mexico or maybe Costa Rica, somewhere by a beach. She left her hometown, which was a beach town. And she was a sun addict. She liked being out in the sun. She liked being on the beach. She liked to sunbathe and parade around the beach in a bikini, it looks like. And this woman was married. She had a child, but she had the child with another man out of adultery. She was married to a man in her hometown, and I'm seeing that it was Costa Rica for some reason. Looks to me like it was, I'm seeing the town of San Juan, Costa Rica maybe, is what I see. If not Costa Rica, then it's somewhere, maybe Panama, somewhere in Central America by the water. Either Mexico, it's either, but I'm really seeing Costa Rica here for whatever reason. And I'm seeing that this woman was very arrogant because she was a really good-looking late woman. She's got more fair-skinned. She was a blondish, kind of brown-haired girl lady in her youth. She has about 5 siblings. I'm seeing that she's got like an older brother, and she's got 2 older sisters. She's the youngest. Her parents are kind of old school, old-fashioned. They speak Spanish. They are very conservative. This woman went to a private school, a conservative school in her hometown, and I'm like I said, I think it's Costa Rica. And she was always very, very popular in school, but arrogant because she was very pretty, and she kind of was very popular with the opposite sex, and so this led to a lot of competition. There is a lot of jealousy that I'm seeing, that a lot of her her friends that she had and her siblings were jealous or envious because of her beauty and her youth, her popularity, and her talents to just kind of naturally draw people. She was able to attract a lot of attention from people, just naturally, and she's very intuitive also. But she's got some problems. Her problem is that she's very vain and she's very arrogant at times, and she's very she has a problem with lying. It looks like she lies a lot. But what happened here is that she was married, she had a child through adultery. She was married to a man, but she had an affair with another man and got pregnant. So in other words, she had one of these love childs out of adultery, and that child is now, it's a boy. I'm seeing that it's a boy, and he's about 25 years old now, just give or take. And they've come to the United States now. They left Costa Rica. She didn't even divorce her husband. She just up and left with her son. They just left because she knew that by staying there, it was going to get found out, that the scandal, it would be too much of a scandal around that small town. So she had to leave. She decided to leave. She just told her parents, I've got to go. I want to get out of here. I've got an idea for a business venture in the United States, and I'm leaving. So she packed her bags, took her son, was able to apply for her visa and her whatever, and got out of there. And so now she's living in the United States. But the problem is, because of the fact that she's such a person who's loves a son, which, the sun is life force. You can't live without the sun. What happens when the sun doesn't rise, or, we die. Everybody's going to die if you don't have sunlight. But her addiction to the sun and addiction to being in the sun a little bit too much caused her to get what she found out is that she had something that was on her, a little something on her face, like a mole grow thing. And she went to the doctor to get it looked at. And as it turns out, it was malignant. And so she was diagnosed with skin cancer. And so now, apparently she's in the last stages of cancer. She's gone through chemotherapy several times and all that business. Now she's trying to take the natural, holistic, homeopathic route of this disease, of this sickness. And she's finding that it's not working, that her attempts to try to combat this cancer from the sun, because that's what is not working. And so she's kind of like on her deathbed, and she's only not even she's about 49 years old, and she's on her deathbed, and she's begging God for mercy and forgiveness because she still hasn't told her son the truth. She wants him to know the truth about who his real father is, but she's afraid to tell him. But she knows that she's going to have to do that at some point before she passes away, because it looks pretty grim. It looks like she's going to die. And this is what I'm seeing here. It's pretty sad, pretty miserable situation. She left her country thinking that she'd have a better life in the United States, only to find out that she gets diagnosed with a deadly cancer shortly upon arrival. And now it's like a punishment, is what she feels like. She's being punished by God because of what she did when she was married, and that she had the affair out of adultery, and she feels like she's betrayed her son, who's the only child she has, and she feels guilty and she feels ashamed. I'm seeing that she's got a broken heart. She's feeling insecure, frustrated, sad, confused, remorseful, overwhelmed. But she still has a little bit of hope that maybe, she's still not giving up hope that she maybe will overcome this disease, this cancer from the sun. Here I have a Eight of Cups, and this card, let's see here. And yeah, when I drew the card, these are just random, by the way. I just randomly decided to choose some cards earlier, and I just obviously just randomly chose them from my stacks. I didn't do any pre-planning. But whoever this resonates with, if it doesn't, then don't let it get to you. If it resonates with somebody, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But this is what I'm getting from these readings, that I'm seeing everything. And I'm also seeing that somebody is one of these men who I talked about, the man who, the arrogant man who works at the museum in somewhere in the Midwest. He's got somebody working as a yard man. Okay, this man, I'm seeing that he and his wife have a yard man that they hired to do odd jobs and yard work around their house, and they live like on a farm. It looks to me like they have a large piece of property that somebody inherited. Looks like somebody on the wife's side, she inherited that property, and it's like a farm in the Midwest, maybe Wisconsin. What maybe I'm seeing Illinois, some Midwestern state, maybe Missouri. Not sure exactly. One of these states, maybe Montana, but that's not the right direction. But I'm seeing now. I believe it's somewhere in Wisconsin is what I think I'm seeing, to be honest. But nonetheless, they live on a farm, like I said, and but he works at the museum. And this person who does all this yard work is sick, is really sick. Like right now, that's also something that's going on, is that this man who does all this yard work for them is getting very sick, and they don't know why, and nobody knows what's going on, because he refuses. He's one of these people who doesn't believe in Western medicine at all. He doesn't like going to the doctor. He doesn't believe in that stuff. He speaks very little English. I'm saying that he's of probably Hispanic origin. he's a immigrant. He's an undocumented worker. But he's sick. He's getting sick, more and more sick by the day. And it's some kind of poison. It looks like some kind of toxin that's killing him slowly. And it's like it's affecting he's starting to get dementia. And he's about 65 years old is what I'm seeing. He's a little bit older man. But they give him a place to live out. He lives out in a little house in the backyard that they have. They've got a large piece of property, and he stays out in a little home that they have for him out there, that he sleeps, because he's basically there doing work for them every day. So he's got his own little house, his own little place out there in the yard on the property. But he's getting more and more sick with each passing day. And it's starting to affect them also, obviously, their marriage, their everything. It's affecting a lot in that household. And what I'm seeing is that it could be some kind of pesticide poisoning that he's been affected by. I'm seeing that a bunch of weeds and some kind of thing that he had been going around with a lot, spraying weeds and grass and whatnot to kill weeds. And so what it looks like is one of these situations where, like the infamous Roundup, for example, where people get sick from the fumes and whatnot, from the toxins, from things like that. So what I'm seeing here is that's what's happening to this man, is that he's been doing that he's been working there for a couple of years now, and he's been doing something with a lot of like weed eater insects and pesticides. So he's getting sick, and I think it might be some kind of something that's affected him at a cellular level, some kind of something that's eating his insides and killing him, as he can't breathe. He's having problems breathing, and but he refuses to get any medical help, and they don't know what to do because he won't go to the doctor because he's afraid that he's going to get deported because he's undocumented worker, and he's afraid that if he goes to seek medical help in town, that they're going to find out and he's going to get deported, and he doesn't want to get deported. So he's just basically almost allowing God. He's very religious. I see that this man is very, very religious, he's Catholic. It looks like, and he's very spiritual, and he has a little, where he lives on the property, he's got his kind of an altar or shrine devoted to different saints and whatnot. And so he keeps praying and praying and praying and hoping that this is going to pass, but it's just getting worse. But maybe it'll, he's not going to go get any kind of medical help, and they don't know. There's nothing that they can't do anything about it because they are not going to tell him what to do, but they're concerned for his health and well-being. But they can't, it's his life, and so they figure, well, if he doesn't want to go to the doctor, we can't make him go see a doctor, but if he does, we'll be supportive and take him to the doctor. But once again, like I said, he's fighting some kind of terminal illness. It could be some kind of cancer or something that's related to pesticides, poisoning of some kind. And then I'm seeing it here, the star. Well, what I'm seeing now is that I'm seeing that there's going to be some kind of a divine intervention on his behalf. That somebody, it looks like he's got some kind of distant relative still over there, and who they correspond they correspond with each other, and they're aware of what's going on with him. This is a woman. It's a woman who's actually in her 80s. It looks like she's somebody who's a relative of his. She lives in some small town in Mexico. I see something like some town in the mountains in Mexico is where she lives. That's where he's from. And she is going to do everything. She's going to try to get some help for him. But she hasn't told him that yet. But that's who is going to intervene and try to save him before it's too late. That's what I'm seeing here. And that's like his savior kind of person. So yeah, and then the Ace of Swords is the last card. This one, this card is, I'm seeing a person who is a woman who's about 50. She's about 51 years old. She's had to overcome a lot of obstacles lately, especially lately, and she is not backing out, and she's not letting the opinion of others get to her anymore. She's decided that she's going to go her own path and basically, not let the influence of others stop her or deter her from her what she's supposed to be doing. And it is like she is kind of just on a quest, a relentless quest to fulfill a mission that she's got all these people trying to stop her from doing it, but she's not going to stop. They want her to do this, they tell her to do that. Everybody's trying to give her advice. Everybody's trying to tell this woman what to do, and to the point that she's self-neglecting sometimes and not listening to her intuition like she should. And so, sorry here, the light is not so good in here, but yeah, she's got the mental clarity. She's got a very sharp mind. She's got a new business venture ideas, and she's got a lot going for her if she just keeps continuing on her path and not letting this outside influence deter her from what she's doing or supposed to be doing. And it also looks something about that she's going to be having some kind of some kind of surgery, some kind of medical procedure that she's going to probably have done in the next year or so or less. So some kind of medical procedure that's going to alleviate a lot of her unnecessary distress or stress and pain that she has. But so yes, that's the reading. And I don't know if that resonates with anybody. Good. If not, okay.